Russian FPV drones first locked onto the exact coordinates of a Baba Yaga UAV control position in Konstantinovka, quietly marking the target before passing the data to the aerospace forces. Moments later, a FAB-1500 strike followed, smashing the identified control node in a single punitive blow. Units of the Vostok Force Group successfully liberated the village of Bratskoye in the Dnipropetrovsk region, marking a significant development along the western operational line. Assault Guard troops from the 36th Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 29th Army led the operation as part of efforts to expand the buffer zone on the western bank of the Gaichur River. Through active and coordinated combat, forces from the Trans-Baikal region captured an enemy defensive area covering more than 9 square kilometers. More than 170 buildings were cleared and secured during the operation. In the fighting, the opposing side's 92nd Separate Air Assault Brigade suffered significant losses, including up to 2 platoons of personnel, 2 armored combat vehicles, and more than 10 robotic platforms and Baba Yaga-type unmanned aerial vehicles. The operation continues with the consolidation of positions and the securing of the liberated territory. A mortar team from the Vostok group of forces struck deep into a forest belt in Zaporozhye region, knocking out an ammunition supply point and silencing a Ukrainian armed forces mortar position in a clean counterbattery action. Operating undercover and relying on rapid target acquisition, the crew executed the strike before the enemy could relocate or respond. Under a heavy sky, artillerymen worked quickly and in silence, preparing their guns for the next strike. Moments later, Hyacinth S crews of the Zapad group unleashed precise fire near Kupyansk, destroying temporary deployment areas, UAV command posts, and enemy artillery. As the echoes fade, the crews are already ready to fire again. A masked drone attack hit Krivoy Rog, triggering multiple explosions, gunfire, and fires across the city. Russian strike drones reportedly targeted energy infrastructure for several hours, raising the risk of severe power outages. Local authorities urged residents to store water and recharge devices, warning that the power system remains unstable and could deteriorate further. The battlefield never truly sleeps. Across multiple directions, the quiet hum of unmanned systems has become the soundtrack of a war fought from the sky. In the Kupyansk direction of the Kharkov region, Zapad group drone operators patiently tracked movement below. One by one, armored vehicles, artillery pieces, robotic platforms, and clusters of enemy personnel were identified and erased, leaving scorched earth where columns once advanced. Farther south in Zaporozhye, Vostok group attack drones slipped through the air, locking onto an exposed artillery position. Seconds later, the strike landed, silencing the guns before they could fire again. Near Krasnoarmysk, the center group's 51st Guards combined arms. Army turned fortified dugouts into traps. Drones hovered above, guiding precision strikes that collapsed enemy shelters along with the troops hiding inside. In the Kherson region, under the Dnipro Group's area of responsibility, attack UAVs hunted through darkness and terrain, cutting down Ukrainian manpower with relentless accuracy. Meanwhile, in the Sumy region, FPV drones from the Sever Group raced low and fast, smashing into infantry positions and equipment, leaving no time to react. Strike teams remain active around Pokrovsk, operating within the zones of Shevchenko and Sergeyevka, where pressure is being steadily maintained on enemy fire assets. Artillery systems of the armed forces of Ukraine that attempt to harass Russian positions are being detected, tracked, and methodically neutralized, stripping the area of its fire support and tightening control over the sector. A ground-based robotic system of the armed forces of Ukraine, deployed to lay anti-tank mines along supply routes used by northern forces, was detected in motion and intercepted by an FPV drone. The strike terminated the mission mid-route, neutralizing the platform before it could disrupt logistics. This footage shows the raising of the Russian flag at various points throughout the village of Padolei in the Kharkiv region. On January 4, 2026, the village was successfully taken following an active operation conducted by units of the West Force GRU. Through coordinated efforts between assault troops, artillery units, and UAV operators, a number of defensive positions, fortified structures, and firing points were neutralized. Air support and precision strikes against identified targets further weakened the opposing defenses. After the main pockets of resistance were suppressed, the troops conducted a sweep of the area, established full control over the village, and destroyed a significant amount of enemy personnel and equipment. Fighting continues around Pokrovsk, Mirnograd, and the Dnipropetrovsk region, where units of Russia's center group are intensifying operations against Ukrainian forces. According to reports, Russian troops are targeting both manpower and military equipment near Krasnoarmysk, Mirnograd, and surrounding areas of Dnipropetrovsk. The footage dated January 7th reportedly shows strikes against Ukrainian positions, personnel, NATO-supplied equipment, heavy bomber drones, and communication systems as part of ongoing combat operations in the sector. From high above, a drone's camera watches as bomber crews release another wave of FAB-guided bombs. One by one, the munitions glide toward their targets, striking Ukrainian armed forces positions in the Sumy region. This time, the impact lands in the populated area of Ryazno, close to the state border, where the explosions tear through the landscape in a sudden, decisive burst. A Ukrainian armed forces ground-based robotic platform was located and destroyed on the Konstantinovsky direction, ending its role on the battlefield before it could influence the fight. Artillery units from the 88th Brigade successfully destroyed a Ukrainian militant UAV control center near Kaliniki. The strike was carried out using 122mm D-30 howitzers, precisely targeting the enemy facility. This operation weakened the opponent's UAV surveillance and strike capabilities in the area. Russian aviation carried out a pinpoint strike on a concentration zone of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Sumy region, delivering 2 precisely guided FAB impacts. The bombs leveled an equipment hangar and obliterated a fortified building used as a troop position, collapsing the site in seconds and erasing the area as an operational hub. Operating among leafless woodland, 2 S-1 Gvozdika self-propelled howitzers of the Vostok Group's 35th Army engaged Ukrainian assault units in the Zaporozhye region. Drone footage from above reportedly shows the artillery strikes detonating enemy positions, resulting in the destruction of the assault groups. Strike aircraft of the 11th Guards, Air Force, and Air Defense Army operating under the Vostok Group delivered a crushing bombing run on enemy positions near the village of Zaleznichnoye along the Vremyevskoye axis. The attack unfolded with deliberate precision, turning fortified areas and equipment concentrations into smoldering ruins and tightening pressure on this sector of the front. In the Krasnolimanskoye sector, Operation Rubicon is underway. A tense atmosphere blankets the field, with every movement carefully monitored. A Humvee is detected moving along an open route. Shortly afterward, an NRTK unit appears in the operational area, followed by a similar unit, indicating sustained activity. An unmanned vehicle speeds past, then 2 pickup trucks are seen moving in sequence, illustrating the intensity of traffic and logistical support. The situation shifts when a tank enters the area, adding pressure and firepower to the battlefield. Not far away, a bunker is identified as a primary defensive position. And finally, a shelter comes into view, a symbol of last protection amid the conflict. This is Operation Rubicon. Silent, precise, and uncompromising. That's all for today's update. Thanks for watching, and don't miss our upcoming videos.